What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and today we're here with the playthrough video of the Arena Frankie. This is a pretty difficult piece of content and definitely heavily requires the latest characters that have came out. Now obviously you don't need them to clear the content, as you guys are going to see in this video, but if you do have them, it makes things a lot easier because one thing you have to encounter in this fight is a special limiter that lasts for the entire duration of the fight, meaning you can only use 2 specials per turn, which does make some of those fights really tricky to get through. So I'll show you guys the teams that I have for you guys in this video today, explaining them, how they work, and I guess we'll get to it. But first thing is first, we need to talk about the brand newly released Arena Frankie, or actually FRANOSUKE technically, because it's from Wano Kuni, but Frankie is a Psy Free Spirit Striker character. Captain effect, 3 times attack to Psy, and also 5% damage reduction, nothing too crazy there. But his special's pretty interesting. It removes all beneficial effects, and then also will reduce attack down and despair by 4 turns. So the utility effects are kind of nice, but then there's an additional effect that says that after a turn has passed, you'll actually get a 2 times conditional against defense down enemies. And he says that if you hit 2 perfects during the turn you activate the special, you reduce all enemies' defense to 0 at the end of the next turn, or at the start of the next turn, really. So essentially, the turn you activate it, you get utility, and then if you hit your 2 perfects in the next turn after it, you're going to be able to get a 2 times conditional boost for free. So this is a pretty cool character. I mean, it would have been nice if you got it on activation, but this is still kind of nice to get utility and then carry a conditional boost into another stage, and the enemy can't remove it either on that. And when you move into a new stage and you activate this effect, because it's from a clock debuff and the perfect debuff, or perfect buff technically. So overall, it's a pretty interesting special. And then talking about his support effect, which attaches to Zoro, Usopp, and Robin, and it just says if the supported character uses the special, reduces attack down by 2 turns, which is awesome. That's always going to see play. That's always going to be a useful effect to have, just to remove 2 turns of attack down whenever you want. So this means that you could run characters on your crew that potentially only remove attack down by like 3 or 4 turns, because, you know, some of those really annoying bosses will give you like 5 turns of attack down, and this can help you kind of mitigate some of that, which is good. So overall, I think Arena Frankie is a really solid free-to-play character, and remember, he's going to be boosted on the upcoming treasure map, he's going to be boosted for events, so it's going to be nice to have him ready to go. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this arena fight. So jumping into this arena fight, the first team that I have here is actually the team that I'm going to be farming with here, and that is going to be using a Kaido captain with a friend Vivi Rebecca version 2. Remember that Vivi Rebecca are a striker and also a cerebral captain, and then Kaido's also being a striker character, so you can build a striker based team out of this and actually get some pretty good stuff done here. Now Usopp and Robin on stage 3, they both have 1.5 million health, and this is where things start to get a bit tricky. So first of all, they give you a really bad chain lock. It's a 3-turn chain lock. So if you have Cracker support, Makino support, Halloween Beckman support, all are really good units to help you get around that quite easily. And then also you're given 98 turns of a special limiter, so you can only use 2 specials for the entire duration of the rest of this fight. That is really annoying. But then you got Zoro here on stage 4 with 15 million HP, and his preemptive attack, he has immunity buff, he gives Bind and Despair to your top and middle row, and also will give you a full board of block orbs and reverses your special cooldowns. The brand new Hina and Kobe from the previous farming event, both of their specials together will help you get around all of these different effects. So those are definitely the most recommended units here, but there are other units you can use to get around these effects here. As you see, I actually do, like, I'm not able to kill him in 1 turn. If Zoro is above 50% and you don't kill him, he will give you hunger. He gives you 2 hits of hunger, and I think that's a continuous thing, so if you keep removing it, he's going to keep applying it. And below 50%, he does apply the that Dex shield that you guys can see there. So you need to hit him with Dex Orbs in order to break through it. And then moving on to the final boss stage, which we have FRANOSUKE, who has 40 million HP. He becomes a quick unit. He'll bind your middle and bottom row. So your captains need to have some type of effect to get rid of bind, or some other effect to get rid of bind. And also 5 turns of Rainbow Shield is going to be on the enemy side of the field. So lots of stupidly annoying things here. He gives you badly matching slots, and if you try to change them around, he gives you a full board of block orbs. So again, you know, having some sort of way to, you know, keep your slots, or a super type special or a switch effect in order to change your slots around, are the most ideal ways to get around these effects here that you see. And then without further ado, you know, you just go through and kill him. So that's this team, and as I said, this is probably going to be my farming team for this particular arena event. So taking our attention to this next team, shout out to my boy Nightmare JP for the inspiration for this team. This team is very similar to the one that he created. Actually, it does have nearly all the same units here, but I have changed some units around just to make it so that I can actually kill the final boss Frankie in one turn, comparing, you'd have to stall and otherwise. If you do want to, stall on the final boss Frankie, you can do it. Every single turn, he cuts your health in half, and then he does his attack damage to you. So as long as you have some type of good damage reduction effect or a healing effect, you can actually tank a hit or two, and that'll be shown off in the previous, or in the next team, in the following team. You guys will see how that actually goes into play. But with this team in particular, the way that it's working is we have Hawkins here. He's like one of the best Dex slash units that we can use in terms of attack. Hawkins is not there for any particular reason. We just needed a unit that had type advantage against Frankie, and that was also a slasher, so that we could get the color affinity from Zoro, and then we could get the orb boost from what's his face? Odin, right? Because we're going to be using the Odin special and also the Roger special on stage 4. So we have a 3-turn Odin orb boost, and we have the super tight special of Roger, which will give us the matching slots, and then we can change them into the Wano. We do use Shanks here, but because of the special limiter, we can't launch our Odin and our Roger in the same turn. So we use Shanks first, then we use Odin and Roger in the following turn to end up killing this guy. Something as well, if you are using this team in particular, is I would try and get as much overhealing as you can to ensure that when you use the Luffy Sanji special on the final stage, you can actually get the 2.5 times attack boost, and that's kind of important, getting a 2.5 attack boost versus a 2 times boost. Obviously, it does mean a big difference there, so making sure that you do that. And Zoro, the Raid Zoro, is very important because not only do we get the color affinity from him, but we also get the ability to remove the 5 turns of % damage reduction that Frankie has on the final boss fight. So this is a pretty impressive team. I enjoyed using this team a lot. If you have the applicable units, it's definitely a lot of fun. So now we take our attention to the third team of the video, which is going to be using version 3 or Wano Kuni Law. Now with this team, we are using the coded Sunny, and that's an important ship. Make sure that if you are running this team, to use that ship, because on the final stage against Frankie, we are going to be tanking 2, well, actually it's technically we're taking 3 hits, but on one of those turns we are using Shirahoshi special, so we won't have to worry about our HP. But the first turn, you'll have essentially full HP, so you won't have to worry about that. But the second turn of Frankie, he's going to do a lot of damage to you, because you'll be taking a lot of damage on the first turn, and then you're not going to have as much HP to tank hits on the second turn. So that's why we have the Coded Sunny to help us mitigate some of the damage that we take there. And the way that this team is working is once we do get to the final boss, we're going to be using Shirahoshi and also Vivi to give us, the full board of rainbow slots, and Frankie cannot change those rainbow slots. And then we also have Vivi Rebecca, which gives us a color affinity boost to Striker and Cerebral for 2 turns. So we can use Shirahoshi special for the orbs, we can use Vivi to give us color affinity, and then in the turn after that, once we are ready to burst, we can go ahead and use the Kobe special, which is going to be a great addition because it's a 1.75 attack boost, and I believe he is boosted in the Colosseum, so he's got a boosted Dex unit against Frankie, is always nice to have. And then we have Wano Kuni Law for his orb boost and his chain effect there. So that's the way that the Law team is going to get through, but as long as you are able to tank, the 2 hits, and of course on the second turn, because your health is below 50%, you can get the pinch healing with Wano Law, which also definitely helps out in terms of, mitigating damage, healing back HP, just to make sure that you can actually survive. So now we're going to go ahead and move on to the final team of the video, which is using Legend Kid, which I have not used Kid in a long time, and this is a really fun team to use. However, it is a frustrating one because if you don't hit your perfects, this team will not work. Also, some of the supports are kind of nice to use here. I am using Clash Zoro for a color affinity boost to Kamazo on the final boss fight, and I am also using the Kizuna limited rare recruit character Brook, which will give us a chain boost in the final boss fight. Definitely not a requirement, I don't think, but definitely makes a big difference. But I think that Clash Zoro to give Kamazo color affinity is huge, but definitely the most iffy stage, like the stage that you'll probably die the most on with this team is going to be against Zoro, because Zoro having such huge type disadvantage for our team is a big problem, because Sabo is the only character on our team that will have type advantage against him. So that's why we have to make sure that we have you know, the matching slot on Sabo, because we will be using the super type special of Kid. We have color affinity from Nami, we have the orb boost from Nami, we also have a chain boost, and if you do not hit your perfect, you are not going to kill. However, in this instance here, I do enough damage to Zoro that I actually will kill in the turn after, and lucky enough I just get Dex orbs. But this is just going to show if you hit your perfects, you will kill him. You don't have to worry about it, but obviously it does make a big difference there when I don't hit my perfect. But make sure you hit your perfects and you're not going to have any troubles at all with this Kid team. But this was a lot of fun, this arena. It's definitely very tricky. The special limiter makes you think about the way that you build your team, and if it wasn't for the special limiter, this arena is actually ridiculously easy. And I think, you know, because there's not really many gimmicks going on here. The big gimmick is the fact that you cannot use many specials per turn, so that is super annoying. But if you get your team around that, you know, it's not going to be too difficult because there's not too many gimmicks to worry about. And the boss does have 40 million HP, which is kind of a lot, but as long as you got those decked characters, it shouldn't be too bad. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video today, and if you guys did, make sure to hit the like button. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But other than that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.